All right, guys, welcome. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us this morning. Obviously, wanted just to make a video today and have a bit of a chat about training. Obviously, COVID's been
Excellent.
for a while. It's been going on for a little bit. Hopefully, we get some reprieve on Friday and ScoMo opens the gyms, which it looks like there's a good chance that could happen. We'll see what that looks like in terms of restrictions and stuff. But for right now, I just wanted to get on the call with you boys and obviously just have a chat about what we're doing with the training, what the programming looks like, and how we can still make gains even though, we're at home and we've got limited access to equipment. A lot of people sort of have the excuse that as soon as the gym shut, they're like, oh, I can't do anything, or I don't want to do body weight, or that's not going to work for me. It's not suitable for me and my goals. And obviously we've proven in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, that's just not the case. Right. So, so basically I just wanted to talk about obviously the programming first that we put out. We've got those 3 programs. We've got GPP. It means if you've got a regular gym kit, you could just carry on. And I know Jace, you've been doing that, and Josh, you've been participating in a lot of those ones. So if you've got equipment, that's been great. If not, you've got the sweat program, which gives you some access to some light kit, and then the body armor stuff. So first of all, I just wanted to talk about obviously lean muscle mass and how to gain lean muscle mass and muscle hypertrophy, which is arguably what we're trying to do when we're in the gym. We're trying to get stronger and we're trying to get leaner and we want to remain strong. And obviously now in these times when we haven't got access to that heavy resistance, we can just throw on our backs and go to work sort of thing. We've got to make different alternatives, right? So one of the things that we've done in our programming, you'll probably see, especially if you've been following the body armor programming, is there's 2 types of sessions that I tend to run in there. One's more of a strength or like STR strength session. The other one's more of a HIIT or like a chipper or a conditioning kind of session. And I try to do that in our programming so I get the balance of both. So you've got strength and you've got your anaerobic sort of energy system, and then you've got your cardio chippers and more your aerobic sort of energy system. And then I try to flick between those 2, a strength day, a conditioning day, and I try to flick between upper body and lower body, or lower body and upper body, so that we get across the week, you get a balance of energy system training and you get a balance of strength training. And I think that's been the really big focus that I've tried to put into what we've been doing. And one of the things, obviously to talk about that and what, I think Jake posted a video a while back. It was a joke video about how to get strong in general. And you have to do reps of 8 to 12. And my sister Cindy once was doing 15 reps and she accidentally did 12 and became a bodybuilder. And it's just not the case. Obviously, muscle hypertrophy has been proven now that you can get strong and you can gain lean muscle mass anywhere from 5 reps up to 30 reps, as long as you have the right stimulus and you're trying to work towards failure. All right. And that's a really key sort of principle. And that's something I've probably talked about a lot recently, is that the principles of health and fitness haven't changed, even though we're in isolation. It's just the venue and where we're doing them. Do you know what I mean? So whereas we used to be able to throw a heavy weight on our back for 90% of our sort of 1 rep max and get sort of 5 reps in at a time, and we could create stimulus and strength that way, you can equally do that with a lower amount of weight for a larger amount of reps.
That's heavier reps, yeah.
So now it's been proven that you can get muscle hypertrophy upwards of as many as 30 reps. Have any of you guys seen, the documentary Pumping Iron?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, with Arnie. If you watch any of their training from old school bodybuilders, we're talking about big, solid dudes. They weren't just in there just banging out reps of 5 and going home. Do you know what I mean? They're busting out reps on reps and a high amount of volume to create that muscle growth and to create the size and muscles that they were trying to create. And obviously we're not looking for those kind of gains, but you can just see that with lighter amount of weights and higher amount of reps, time under tension, and a few other things coming into play, you can still make gains. So what we've tried to really focus on in our training, and especially recently, is taking those movements, because some movements will lend themselves really well to 30 reps, and some movements won't. So if you're doing for example, lunges, arms, abs, those kind of things lend themselves really well to high amount of I'll just get this one in here. Someone's jumping in. High amount of reps. What's up, Tash? High amount of rep scheme. So high amount of volume will help with those ones. Hey, Tash. Whereas if you're trying to do high volume deadlifts, if you're trying to do high volume pull-ups or anything like that, you just can't do 30 strict reps without failing. Your body will fail, your connective tissue will fail. and you just won't be able to do it. But if we're in the gym and we're doing high volume of lunges and push, like body weight movements and single like arm movements, like that's stuff you're going to do in the gym anyway, you know? So all we're doing is just putting it in a different place by doing it at home. So
yeah, the result doesn't change regardless of the room that you're in, I think. Is that what we're trying to put across there? Yeah.
Right. The principles of fitness remain the same.
Yeah.
Right? So principles of, time under tension, principles of progressive overload, principles of absolute strength versus like at maximal strength. Like those things don't change. It's just the way in which we present them. You know what I mean? The way in which we're training. So, and I think if you've looked into any bodyweight calisthenics sort of training before, I mean, look at gymnasts. Gymnasts don't do weights, but they are jacked.
Yeah.
And they're just doing bodyweight stuff and like rings and stuff like that. Like a lot of straight arm movements and bodyweight movements, and they are some of the strongest people on the planet. So I think now is a time where we can really utilize those skills, and that's what we've tried to put into the programming. So focusing on things like unilateral movement, which is like single arm or single leg movement. So you would have seen in the body armor program recently, I've targeted that split squat quite a few times, rear foot elevated split squat. Now, if we're trying to just communicate this in terms of how this works. If I took a 1 rep max back squat, and let's just say, I'm not that strong. Let's say it's 140 kilos. All right, and I take 30% of that, which you can do on a single leg for a Bulgarian split squat. You're looking at somewhere around about, 40 odd kilos for 30%. I'll do the math really quick. Let's check it out. 140 times 30%. Yeah, about 42 kilos, right? Which is what I could do for one. Like if my max is 140, a 1 rep max split squat under tempo, I probably could only do 42 kilos for one rep, right? So if I'm now going to try to do, say, 10 reps or as many as 30 reps with that same weight, times that by 30%, I only need 12.5 kilos on one leg at 30 reps to go to fatigue. Do you know what I mean? To burn out. Would you agree with that, Josh?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So what we're getting at is that just because you're in your garage or you're in your living room and you don't necessarily have that 120 kilo bar or whatever it is that you would use, we can get the same stimulus, the same result from using a lighter weight, just amplifying the reps. You're still getting that time under tension. The muscle fiber is still getting those micro tears. So we're still gaining muscle density and muscle mass. You're just doing it over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So we spend more time under tension, or that TUT is what we talk about a lot, instead of, hitting your heavy reps for 5 or 8 or whatever it is that we've done. You elongate that and you just spend more time. So the muscle is then required to recruit more energy. You burn more, you get more micro tears. So you're still going to get that same growth in muscle mass.
So you're saying like same answer, different equation?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've always been going to the gym because it's easier to do less reps, right? Mentally, you can go, right, I can get to a set of 5. Ask what day Josh hates coming to. Which day Josh always tries to avoid if he can help it. And I guarantee it's anything to do with single legs or reverse lunges.
Dude, you should have heard the pep talk I had to give myself to try that Monday thing with the 30. I said to Tash yesterday, I was like, Rusty programmed this workout on Monday. And it was 4 sets of 30 front squats during a workout, and it fucking toasted me. Like I was dead. My legs are done, cooked.
And the reason why I programmed that and why I put it in there as a challenge is exactly what we're talking about. Like you can get anywhere up to 30 reps where you're near failure, and I'm guaranteed you would have tried to go unbroken. Good man.
Yeah, the first set.
You don't need that much weight, and that's what that's what functional training and like the CrossFit style programming brought in, is that you could do some heavy strength training, but then when you got to your Metcon, like that's what that is. Like it's a 30 rep max where you're probably not going to be able to go unbroken. You're going to have to stop. And that's why that programming has been so successful. But just bringing that back, like I said, that's why I try to target those things within the programming to challenge you guys, especially in these times when you haven't got a lot of load. Things like the mind muscle connection of like just knowing which muscles you're trying to use with an exercise. And really try to focus on that. Like I said, bodybuilders have talked about this for years, and I used to think it was a bunch of wank and like, come on, mate, just move. But like, it really isn't. It's when you actually go, right, how do you flex your quad? You lay on the ground, put your legs straight, and like squeeze. Like, I had to learn this a very hard way by being injured and have surgery where I lost my quad completely, and then be like, go. And it wouldn't do it. And it took
For all of you playing at home, Rusty just pointed to his leg.
Yeah, sorry. Longer of the three. So, but yeah, like I had to learn how to flex my quad again. And just then when you go into a movement, say a split squat or a lunge or a squat or whatever, and you know it's a quad dominant exercise, if I can make that connection to say, hey, flex my quad, I'm going to get more out of that because my body is going to target that much more precisely than just I need to stand up, because then it could be easy that I lean forward and, use my back or whatever. So mind muscle connection is really important. Unilateral movements, as I've mentioned there, single arm, single leg stuff. Also like the tempo. And we've used this a lot of times in our training and purpose programming before. So it's not new to most of you guys, but when you slow a movement down, and Josh pointed out this before, when you slow a movement down, you have to recruit more muscle fibers to be able to support that movement, because you have more stabilizers coming on the job, because you've got no momentum and you're not able to bounce out of the bottom. A lot more of the musculature has to switch on for you to actually be able to perform it and perform it well. Would you agree with that, Jace?
Yeah, no, 100%. It all comes down to increasing the intensity without actually needing or adding more weight.
Yeah.
Especially time under tension is very good for so the tempo, creates more time under tension, which is really good for hypertrophy, so building muscle.
Exactly, yeah. And I think if anyone's tried that before, you've done like 10 push-ups, then do 10 push-ups with a 10-second negative and a 10-second hold, and then a 10-second, or even a 3-second.
I was going to say, and then you get 1 rep.
Yeah. Like, I've just done a 60-second push-up, and, you're fucked. So I think tempo plays a massive factor in that, and that's what I've really tried to emphasize in the Body Armor program, and I've started to roll that out across all programs. You'll see those 4 numbers. And I think, well, Josh, do you want to explain what the 4 numbers mean?
Oh, sorry. So the way I write it, actually, I noticed you do the X as well. I generally write eccentric, and then your pause or whatever it would be in the middle, and then your concentric. So your lowering phase, whatever the pause would be at the bottom of that rep, and then how long our rising phase would be. So say I'd write like 3-0 or 3-1-3. So that means 3 seconds on the way down, a 1 second pause in the middle, and then 3 on the way back up. So that's how I generally.
I'll write it as 4 numbers.
Yeah, I see you put the X in there too.
I'll write the transition, wherever the transition is, and then I'll write the concentric phase, and then the transition again at the other end. So, for example, a squat, if it was just 3-3-3-3, right, 4-3. So it would be 3 seconds down, stop at the bottom for 3 seconds and hold. Take 3 seconds, get back to the top, and then you still have 3 seconds at the top before you start your next rep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
If you wrote it as
I just leave that last number off. But I understand that.
Yeah, so there's a transition at the top and the bottom of each movement. So whether you go straight back into the next rep or you want to pause in between. So
so that's a good, I guess, example of that would be when we had the 20 rep max program in, and you were saying make sure that you take 2 to 3 deep breaths before you go into your next consecutive rep.
Yeah. So that might have been like a 3-1-1, and then at the top a 3 again, because you need to take 3 breaths at least. So there's 3 seconds to get to the bottom, control, stop, come back up, stop, catch your breath, and go again. So,
and just talking about that unilateral stuff, I think to connect that back to how that's going to help you guys when you come back in, like the unilateral stuff, you may feel like it's a bit silly and it's hard, and you're like, oh, I'm not actually using this much weight. Like a 12 kilo kettlebell hurt my legs for days. This is the point. So this is what we're looking at doing. The unilateral stuff will then give you that mind-muscle connection. You'll be able to understand how we're using those muscles properly, and it transfers directly to your full squat. So say all these Bulgarian squats and that are going in there, and you're sort of thinking like, why aren't we just doing like heavy back squats, or, I might just miss this one because they hurt my legs and I feel like I don't really get much out of it. If you're that sort of person, which is cool, like we all have things that we don't enjoy doing, you need to try and do the things that you don't enjoy doing, because they're going to help you out. Like Rusty's not just putting it in there to sort of annoy you or give you sore legs.
Yes,
if
it is. What are you saying?
If you can say, get as confident, because everyone's got one side that feels a little bit more confident or a little bit more dominant than the other. this isn't a good thing. Okay, so your Bulgarian split squats, your unilateral work is the stuff that's going to teach you how to use both sides of your body equally, which then in turn, if you keep doing all of these split squats or lunges or whatever it is that Russ is programmed for the day, and then you find you coming back into the gym and you're like, holy shit, this barbell actually feels pretty good. Like I've managed to add 5 or 10 kilos onto my back squat because you're using both sides of your body equally. So both legs are recruiting the same amount of force. You're driving up with the same amount of force out of each leg. We're getting stronger on both sides of our body individually. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Just sort of word vomit a little bit.
Would you agree with that, Jace?
Yeah, no, 100%. Even just to add on that, having imbalances, say one leg's not doing that much as you're usually squatting with a heavy load, one, it's going to decrease performance and also can lead to an injury in worst cases. So during this time where we don't have much weights, it's very important to work on those imbalances. And also the core stabilization benefits from it. If you're pressing on one side, your core has to switch on and away so you don't tip over. So you're going to get many more benefits out of it. And it's also good to work through plateaus. So say you've been back squatting 100 at the gym for 5 reps every time you do it, and you can't seem to get any stronger from it. You don't know why it is. That's why we're assessing single leg stuff, seeing where we do have imbalances. If we do, hopefully the weak side's going to get stronger from it, core's going to get stronger, and then hopefully crush that 100 kilo when you get back in the gym.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, boys. I think you've hit like a lot of really good points there in terms of like obviously correcting deficiencies and being more like balanced. Obviously, I've mentioned this again. When you walk down the street, you don't walk down the street jumping on 2 feet. So, you walk 1 foot in front of the other. So you run 1 foot in front of the other. You change direction of 1 foot to the other. So, that's why this time is really important. Like it's a gift really to say, hey, work on these benefits now, because you don't have to worry about just going heavy under a barbell. You can actually work on these things. So I think a lot of that like comes back to now, and like getting those points is just reframing your mindset a little bit around what's going on. I did a video this morning that sort of talked about this, but like now's a really good opportunity. You probably never have this much time ever again. It sounds funny because like COVID shut my business, but at the same point, I think it's also been a bit of a blessing for people to reconnect to their like schedule and reconnect to their like life a little bit. Like right now with the gym shut, you've got the biggest opportunity where you can optimize your schedule to make it work for you. You can optimize your sleep, your recovery, that mind muscle connection. You can utilize tempos, and we can utilize training to benefit yourself.
It's pretty much mitigated every excuse I've ever heard somebody give me when they come into the gym. I'm time poor. I didn't sleep enough last night. I can't eat enough during the day.
Exactly. Like right now, we're a bit of a blessed situation that you've got a program that is going to work for you, can get results. You can make your food yourself because you're always at home, so you can prepare. You can basically work your own schedule if you're working from home. You don't have a commute, and you can build your own sleep wake schedule, so you can go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time. It's only when you're trying to stay up and binge watch another episode of Tiger King or something that you're missing out on sleep. But I mean, that's just part about being disciplined. And I think, like I said, right now, if we view this time as a bit of a pre-season, because like I said, I think ScoMo is going to drop some regulations or whatever it is on Friday. What that looks like, we'll have that conversation on Friday. But this right time right now, though, is the time where you can really bulletproof your schedule and make great use of your time. And just seeing it as like, right, I'm pre-season, I'm building myself up where I'm, like Jay said, like I'm working on my core stabilizers, I'm working on my single leg strength, I'm working on perfecting my movement. The other reason why I split our programming into kind of a strength and a conditioning basis on each session is obviously every program out there right now that's a bodyweight program is like, hey, do squats, do push-ups, do burpees, do lunges, right? There's only so many variations of those movements that they have. And if you're continuing to pound those movements, say a squat, and like this is your range of motion, whereas like this used to be your range of motion, you're now just repeating, like you're ingraining a poor movement pattern that it's okay to squat shallow. It's okay to do half push-ups. I've seen a lot of push-ups like this right now. Like no one's really getting that full range of motion anymore because they're trying to do reps for time. So like I said, utilizing the program we've done, we try to slow down tempos. We try to sequence movements where we'll pre-fatigue something. For example, you might do a tricep dip into, well, actually today's chipper is a really good example of it. Anyone look at today's chipper?
Yeah.
I'll just explain it really quick. It goes,
Scotty's like, yeah, I'm not
he's like,
doing
yeah,
it.
looked at it and haven't done it yet. It goes up down, which is like, drop back onto your arms into a version of a push-up. It goes into chair dips and then push-ups, then alternating crab kicks, which is like a brace, and then into burpees. So every single one of those movements involves your arms.
Yeah.
And it fatigues them more and more and more until you get to the full body movement of a burpee. So those, when you get to them, there's only 15 burpees in a row, but by the time you get to them, your arms are shot. Those 15 burpees are hard to get up from. And that's part of like what we call like just sequencing of exercises. So there is a bit of science behind what we're actually doing with the programming and how we're trying to put it together so that we can get the most out of you, even in bodyweight movements. But it's still really important that obviously that you move well. So you agree with that, Josh?
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I was just reading your thing. I realized it was 2 laps too.
Yeah, it's 2 laps, yeah.
God damn it.
Gotta go through it twice. All right, so I think that kind of helps to explain a bit more about the strength stuff. What I'd like to talk a bit about now is just about some of the HIIT training stuff that we put in there and like why that's beneficial as well. Because obviously people at home are kind of like, I don't want to just be doing cardio and I don't want to do mass reps or whatever. I want to get strong. You know, I come to the gym because I like to shift weight. So like, why do I need to do the HIIT stuff? And I think like, as we found, if anyone's ever done any real cardio or aerobic training for quite some time, it's just good for the soul. I think Tash will agree with that she doesn't mind getting a sweat on every now and then. She's like, just give me some heavy shit. But I mean, like, there's true. I'll really generalize this, but there's true, sort of, let's say, main energy systems like this. There's 3, but let's say it's just like anaerobic, anaerobic, right? So anaerobic energy system is when we tend to pull into strength training, sprinting, high intensity movement, right? And then you've got your aerobic training, which you could do for obviously an extended period of time and you need oxygen to continue to breathe through it, right? So the benefit of both of them, obviously the HIIT training is going to use a large amount of energy in a short period of time. It really focuses on drawing in a lot of energy quickly, whereas aerobic energy doesn't take as much during the exercise and it tends to function much slower. Basically, I mentioned about in the brief there, sort of about like metabolic flexibility. And what that really is like your body choosing which energy it uses, which energy source. Yeah. Thank you. Energy source that it uses for the movement, right? So it has a choice between so protein's always going to be the stable, which helps to rebuild and regrow, but whether it's going to use carbohydrates or fats, or glucose, which is sugars, comes from carbohydrates. So in a intense HIIT training, strength training, in the moment, your body's going to draw on a lot of sugars, a lot of glucose and carbs to sort of use in that session. Whereas in a longer setting where you're moving for say 30 to 60 minutes at a continuous pace, and they used to talk about it as the fat burning zone, your body will start to then transition at that lower intensity into using more fat as a energy source. This is why I used to see a lot of bodybuilders would do a really hard, intense session and use up their glycogen stores and then go and sit on the treadmill for an hour and a half and just walk. And it's because they wanted that lower intensity so they could target more fat as an energy source and bring them down to elite level leanness of what they were trying to do. So with our programming, when we do, like, for example, today is a chipper workout. So if that workout is a 25-minute time cap, it's designed that you'll probably only have, 1 to 2 paces that you're going to go for. You're not going to be able to sprint really at any point because you'll die on the next exercise. So it kind of helps to target that aerobic energy system. It's another reason why with the challenge, I had that in there that you should be able to get outside for 30 to 60 minutes. So you're in that, let's say, fat burning window, if you want to call it that, where you're doing something that, what's that?
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. I could get outside for that long, eh?
Yeah. But so you could target that energy system, and also it's just good for your head. So anyone that's done any kind of cardiovascular training or gets into running or cycling, that's why endurance racing is such a big deal. It's just that it helps people clear their mind, whether it's just turn music on and chill out or just like get away from life. It's that idle moment where they can just mentally switch off a little bit. Yeah. So sometimes doing things of just like, I did one yesterday. First time I went back to the gym and I got to get on an assault bike. Believe it or not, I actually missed it. But did like 50 calories for time, rest, whatever time it took me to do 50 calories, I did that 4 calories. And then the last time, however many calories I got in that time, I did it again. It was about 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off, and it took about 15 minutes. But all it was pure cardio. And it just allowed me to switch off and get out of my head for a little while. And I think for some people that can be really important when it's really, really stressful. Biggest thing that can ruin your gains, that can destroy lean muscle mass, the two things is inactivity and stress. Which arguably when COVID hit, happened to everyone.
Everyone automatically lost 20 kilos on their 1RM.
Yeah.
Oh my God, COVID.
Overnight.
A great example of this is like getting injured and going to hospital. Again, I've got a perfect example of this because it happened to me, right? So being laid up for 6 weeks, I wasn't allowed to move. I wasn't allowed to walk out there in crutches. And if anyone saw my legs, my quads just went. It was in a highly stressful state, and not being allowed to move fucking sucked. Before we opened the gym. But so yeah, like I said, right now, reconnecting to training and starting to move. A lot of people are like, oh, I just don't want to do it. I'll wait till the gym reopens. I guarantee you'll be hating that. Those first month, you might not come back. You come back and your body will hurt in ways you've never even known because you haven't moved. So has that ever happened to any of you guys?
Yeah, I was just about to chime in there. So to be realistic, like even myself, I know you guys come in and you see Jason, Rusty and I crushing workouts all the time before class and that sort of thing. I didn't train for like the first week that COVID hit and I was laid up at home. And for that exact reason, I was stressed. I was worried about where money was going to come from. The same sort of stuff everybody else was stressing about. So instead of being proactive and going back to the things that I enjoy, like training and lifting away or going for a run or something like that, I just sat on the couch, felt sorry for myself and ate heaps of food. All right. I was then able to like self-correct that, obviously. Turned it around a little bit, got on the phone to Rusty a little bit, just sort of got out of my rut. And now I'm back to training every day. I feel heaps better. Like I look forward to whatever it is for the day. But then I also make sure that at least once a week, I put some time aside to do a form of exercise or activity that I really enjoy. So for myself, that's like mid-distance sort of running. So anything between, say, maybe 4 to 8 Ks, where I'll just go out, and we're not talking like world record paces or anything like that. I just go out, put some headphones in. I've got a really cool running track down here, and I just go. Take off, breathe it in. You don't have to think about anything for a little while. You come back in, and it's like, while it is a bit of hard work, it also resets my personal internal battery. So I implore you guys to find something, whether it be jumping on a bike and riding for an hour or two, or like finding a nice hiking trail, or I don't even know, go and kick the footy at the park with a dog, like have some shots at goal and make sure that every time you go and get the ball, you jog over to pick it up and you jog back to where you were. Just find something that you really enjoy that will help reset that mindset sort of thing, so that you have that chance to do something you really enjoy doing as well. It doesn't always have to be about, single leg squats and maximal this and numbers here and all that sort of thing. If you are that person that's stuck in the rut at the moment, just understand that we all understand that. We've all done it as well. Just because we are coaches doesn't mean that we're not human. So find that thing that's going to help you to get better. Even if, you're finding it really hard to jump in and train at the moment, just try and do it for yourself. Try and do that one thing or two times a week where you get out and you enjoy doing that exercise. It'll benefit you on the back end.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's been great to see people getting out and doing stuff. I know Scott on the call here and Ange, have been doing a ton of hikes. Scott's got a couple of bikes at home that I know when he's not in the gym, he constantly gets out. I'm a massive mountain bike fan. It's been great. Actually, I got my bike back recently, and it was the first time I'd ridden a bike that wasn't an assault bike. So I was very happy about that, and the fact my knee and whatever could tolerate that. So that's been great. I know Jace and Dan have got a running track near their house that they like to get out every now and then and test themselves and go for a bit of a run. So yeah, man, like that's probably one of the biggest things about purpose, and one of the things messages I want to ram home when we reopen. It's always been real to me, is being fit out of the box. And I mean that it's in terms of out of the gym. Like what we do in the gym is an expression of what we can do. But if we don't use that for anything, it's kind of, it's not pointless, but it's like,
it's not very functional, is it?
You're missing out on something here. If you don't really test it, if you don't really know if it works, and it doesn't mean you have to go play sport. It doesn't mean you have to run marathon, but like having something else that shows that you can see improvement, not just what we do in the gym, I think is really important. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up there. Tash, have you got something that you like to do that's not necessarily in the gym? Do you have a thing, or is it just, I want to crush weights until I die?
Baking.
Baking?
No, my thing is actually dancing. So like I took up salsa, and obviously you can't really be that close to people. And so it's very awkward trying to do that on your own. It's not really, you need the guidance.
I'm sure you look great.
Thanks. But no, I've been running.
Yeah.
There you go.
Running. But I usually do about 8 to 10 in a sitting, and I try not to stop. So that's pretty much it. I find a pace. It's the same as like the moment I realized I was going too hard at CrossFit, and I was like, why does this hurt so much? And it's here, not here. Yeah. And I was like, all right. So I eased up here, and then that made everything better. So it's really just finding new ways that I can really just like change my mindset and pace myself and find a new pace that's comfortable, because you don't have to kill yourself all the time. And
yes, thank you.
That's what I use running for, is just to teach you that again. Sometimes I find myself, I'm like, who am I running against? I'm like, and I'm like, you can't keep that pace up for another 60 minutes. So don't.
Yeah, that's really true. I'm very guilty for that, because I'm previous footballer and a runner. That anytime I go out, I just put my clock and go. If you're not
as fast as I can.
You're not running at this pace, you're not working hard enough, and then I screw myself and can't do it the next day. So now that's awesome, Tash. It's been amazing to see how many people who previously, if I put running in a workout, would have been like, and now I'm avid runners. All of a sudden now people are out there running 3 and 10 Ks. I'm like, and I put 400 meters in, and you guys get upset. So I'm going to have no doubt, and that's going to come back in when we come back, and people will hopefully love it. So I think, something that one of my mentors pointed out the other day, and just you're talking about mindset and stuff like that. I think it really comes back to the intent of what we're trying to get out of training right now. Inside of COVID, like I said, we're not necessarily trying to get PBs. We're not trying to set our at max. We just don't want to go backwards. And I think having an intent for every one of our sessions is that for some people right now, they are a bit demotivated. Some people right now, the weather's starting to creep in. People suffering from a lot of anxiety, mental health, and just a bit just down. Do you know what I mean? Because they lost their job or whatever. And we all know the benefits of physical exercise and getting yourself towards a healthier place. And I think sometimes you just need that, like you said there, Tash. You don't need a great record. You just need an intent of, I need to move. Yeah. And whether that is going out for a run, like Josh said, or a bike ride, or whether that's getting in and doing one of these body armor sessions, you don't have to be top of the leaderboard and crushing it. Like I tell people when they go, I don't know what score I get. I said, just put in 1 million. I don't actually care. Like the important thing is that you got in and you did the workout. If you did 10 reps or you did 10,000 reps, if you did 10 reps really well, I'm happy with that, because that's 10 more reps than you would have done if you didn't do the workout at all. So I think we've got a really good community, and it's been amazing to see, like even Saturday, that was so good to see everyone. It was awesome, to see everyone jump in on that team workout. We'll do that again this Saturday. For those that missed it, with the 6-week challenge, we put them in teams, and we had a big team workout, a bit of a death by style workout that everyone got involved. And everyone hung around to cheer on the guys that were still going. It was like we were back in the box again. And I loved it. I wasn't going to do it. I said to Josh before, I was just going to be the umpire, and as soon as 3, 2, 1 go happened,
you can't help yourself. There's that footy player mindset. Go.
Like I said, it's a pre-season right now. We're trying to get ready to go, boys. Ready to go.
Yeah, no, that Saturday session was absolutely awesome. I've been doing not much apart from weightlifting and strength training for so long.
I've seen that. It's looking good.
And yeah, but I've been neglecting like conditioning and stuff. After jumping in on that Saturday session, one, it trashed me, but my energy levels since have been so high, and I felt so good from it that, Monday went for an hour walk. Sunday went for an hour walk. Monday added in conditioning to my weightlifting. Also went for an hour walk, and then yesterday added in conditioning again. So
you went whole hog, mate.
I did. Yeah, I'm all about conditioning now as well.
Brilliant.
Welcome the athlete back. Well done. I think, like I said, guys, there's a big emphasis on aerobic training, and people talk about that runner's high, and we get that in the gym, and especially for people like ourselves that have been training for a while. Like, we know if we go in there and crush a workout like that, and we're not completely on the floor like dead, we're going to feel upbeat. You've never once finished a workout and then not wanted to tell everyone in the room about it. Like you go around and be like, oh man, I nearly got you. And that bit crushed me. Like there's always those combos. And I think people forget that, comes from that endorphin high.
There's been a couple in there that I didn't want to talk to anyone.
And that's all about intent. I really think your intent was to crush yourself. Or maybe my intent was. But yeah, one of my mentors, he came back to me and he said this thing that he found. It was called OMS, and it was basically obstacles make me stronger. And I think, people talk about and being in that centered place, but like right now, that was such a big deal. Like, trying to find the positives and the silver lining in what's happening right now, like, and having that obstacles make me stronger, is that right now we're in a position where we can focus and we can take the silver linings out of this, where we can, like I said, focus on single leg and single arm movements and work on our stabilizers and work perfecting body weight movement mechanics, so that when we can go back under the bar and we can add some real load to that, we're moving really well.
Yeah.
So I run a session once a week called Mobilize Me, and I probably do it 3 or 4 times a week, more than that, which is basically like a ROMWOD session. It's about 20 minutes of some stretching and mobilization, which just sets me up for the week, because I'm doing all the sessions you're doing. So if I'm getting crushed by them and I'm tight and I'm sore, like I know I need to open up range of motion. I know Scotty's got a subscription to ROMWOD now, which he hits pretty much daily. Him and Ange and a few others. I know Jake's doing it as well. Like finding the silver linings and working on those things and having the time available. You just need to reframe our focus on, what can you do to get better, and changing that mindset into, fuck, COVID sucks. This sucks. I can't wait till we go back to the gym. I want to go to the pub, or I want to go back to whatever. Like, sorry. Using the time that we have available. Like I said, I mentioned this one, like you'll probably never have this amount of time ever again. Right now is a perfect time to be able to learn a new skill, or do a bit of self-development, or refine something, or I don't know, get your taxes in order. Maybe that's not a good one, but learn a language, work on the house, spend time with family, because when you go back to the hecticness of work and craziness, you'll never have the time you have right now to make your health and fitness a priority unless you make it one. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Do you have anything else to add to that there, Josh?
I don't think so.
No.
I reckon we've
nailed it.
Yeah, that's like in terms of why you've been programming what you've been programming, mental health, how everything's going to affect that. I think we've.
Yeah, and I think that's why, we'll round this off. I mean, this is why we built this Lean in Quarantine challenge, the 6-week challenge we put together. And if you're not a part of it, hit me up and get on board, because what we really focused on was sort of 3 or 4 main things: eat, move, sleep, and then connection. That was the things that I really wanted to focus on in this time, when we probably more disconnected by space, but more connected by technology and other factors than we ever have been or been able to before. And it's been amazing to see that, our membership base and purpose community have really been able to unify around that. But eat, move, sleep is obviously focusing on getting high quality nutrition right now. There should be no excuses. You're making all your foods yourself. If you want to know how to get it done, hit us up. That's what we're there for. Move, like I said, make a priority to move daily. Doesn't mean you have to crush yourself daily, but you need to move. Right now, because a lot of people working from home or stuck at home, the only steps that they're making are steps from their desk to the fridge and back. Do you know what I mean? Their daily actual movement is so much less, because they don't even have to get into the car to go anywhere. Everything's where they are. So daily movement's down, and our food's either the same or higher. So we're taking in more energy and putting out less. So now that was really what the big move factor was created for this 6 weeks, was jump in a daily workout if you can, or get outside for 30 to 60 minutes and get some sunlight on your face while you still can, and get your heart rate up, because you're not going to move otherwise. You're going to stay still.
Yeah.
So,
and that community vibe too, like SugarWOD's going off at the moment.
Yeah,
I genuinely enjoy going on there.
And I think we've always, Purpose as a gym and as a company, have always probably had, what I always hear all the time is, how good is the vibe in the gym? How good is it to get around people? I love the coaches. The people there are so nice. And it's just amazing. And it's what you guys have been a part of and helped to build. So being able to take that online and still experience that, like we did on the weekend with that team workout, and now with the challenge, being in teams.
The challenge has been so good for that reconnection. I think you see everybody getting around each other, commenting. SugarWOD's become the new Facebook for
Yeah.
I know the purpose members that are participating in that challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're feeling a bit lost or stuck at the moment, guys, the community vibes are there. You're just not a part of it yet. So definitely take that time aside, commit to the next, I think we've got 5 weeks left.
Yeah.
We're halfway through our second week. Jump in, come hang out. Like, it's really not that hard to do. You can control all of the controllables that are a part of that challenge at the moment. So get around it, get reconnected with everybody. There's how many people I think there was like 43 people that were.
Yeah, there's 50 odd people that are enrolled in the challenge right now, including my mates in the UK. So there's a team.
Yeah.
There's a team. Well, actually, there's 4 in the UK. No, is it 3 in the UK, 1 in Sydney, and 1 in South Africa that are all part of a team. Yeah. So they're involved in it as well. And like I said, Sugar Ward, that's what it was always built for. The leaderboard, and why we stuck with it is so that you guys could communicate through that. You know, pump each other up for doing good workouts, see what each other's scores are, and then just support each other. And that's been, like you said, Josh, it's been amazing. There's been more interaction on the Sugar Ward leaderboard now than there even was when the gym was open. So I hope that continues, because it's just been great to see people getting around each other. So yeah, really good. Jace, have you got anything else, man, you want to add to today's sort of chat?
No, well, just about timing and habits. I mean, like you said before, it's a great time to build new habits, and because of the time factor. I mean, you don't have any excuses anymore, especially if you're not working. You've just got that much more time on your hands. That could also be a negative thing if you just let it start sleeping in longer, work out whenever you feel like it, because then that will become you don't feel like it anymore. So setting a time that you get up every morning, that you should be going to bed every night, setting a routine, whether it's making your prep meals on the weekend or cooking dinner at the same time, working out at the same time. That way you still have you keep these habits, or they might even be brand new habits you're trying to dial in. And yeah, concreting those habits is going to lead to success.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's it. I feel like when I've been having these coaching calls and stuff like that, my voice is on repeat, and it pretty much starts with build yourself a schedule. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, work out at the same time, eat at the same time. People are saying like, oh, I'm at home all day. By the time I finish work, even if they're at work, they're like procrastinating the whole day. They're like, get home and I can't be bothered. And it's just because they've had zero energy all day, because they're not eating correctly, not sleeping correctly. They have no activity in their life. It's just sitting and staring at a screen and typing. So like, they find it a lot easier to be unmotivated. You mentioned it right there, Jace. You did that workout, and as much as it crushed you, like your energy went through the roof after that. And like anytime you do any kind of the workout, you would know that being in the gym, if you can work out in the morning, like you're on a high for like 12 hours after that, riding that endorphin high for the rest of the day, which for me is what's called like a domino habit. Or so basically, like if you line up all your dominoes and you knock down the first one, it knocks the second one and the next one, the next one. My domino habit is training. Like I know that if I get my training dialed in and I train daily, like I'm then going to want to eat better because I've trained. And after training, I'm going to select a better meal because I've trained. And then because I've trained, my sleep gets better because I need to be rested, because I'm more tired, etc., from doing the training. So then my sleep gets better. And then because I'm sleeping better, I'm eating better, and I'm moving, I have less stress in my life. You know, and it allows me to focus then on what I need to do in my business or my workout or whatever. So, and that it starts by just getting that first domino to knock over, and then it rolls the rest of them. So I think for a lot of people, like I said, I'll say it again, like find a schedule, find a time you want to work out. That's why we still run the online Zoom workout, so that you can reconnect and you can have a designated time, even if you don't give a shit about being in the class and seeing other people. It just means you will go to wherever you do your gym, whether that's lounge room or garage or wherever at that time, and you'll still get something done. So yeah, I think that's really important. But yeah, guys, look, thank you very much for getting on the phone call today. Josh, you got anything else you want to add to that?
I love you all, and I can't wait to see you.
Yeah,
we do miss you guys. We really, really do miss you. Like we spend a lot of time talking to each other in the coaches chat, and like FaceTiming and having little coffee catch-ups and stuff. And the one thing we always talk about, and this isn't just pumping you guys up, but we do miss you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, hopefully, I reckon by the sounds of things, we're probably not too far away from reopening. But don't wait until we reopen to say, oh, when you reopen, I'll go back to the gym, because it might not happen for another month, or we could get closed again. So I'd say right now, guys, use the time you've got, get around your loved ones, reconnect, learn a new skill, make sure you're moving daily. And if you need any help, reach out to any one of us of the coaches, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So Scotty, Tash, thanks so much for jumping on the call. We
Right.
recorded this, so your lovely face will go live to the rest of the members.
Oh my God.
Thanks.
But guys, thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you guys in the gym soon. Keep putting your scores into Sugar Wad, and I will see you in the Purpose Garage gym soon.
See you, fam.
Peace
See
and
you
love.
later.